I heard this story about Conor McGregor, that when he first started boxing, he found that if that fear wasn't there, he wasn't as sharp. He would walk into an arena and he would look for it. Where is the fear? Where are the people that want me to lose?
Yeah.
And he'd look for it not as a way to make himself smaller, but as a way to make himself bigger.
That's a way to channel that, harness it. I've got Brad Farris with me today. He is an executive leadership coach with Anchor Advisors. Brad, thanks for being here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, obviously we know each other.
We do.
You coach me.
I did.
And I've gotten a lot of value out of that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I thought having you on this we could amplify that to other people too.
I love it. Do you want to, what was it that you got out of it? What was something that you would say was a really pivotal point for you?
I think it's the topic of today's conversation, right? Which a lot of times people go to somebody like yourself when you're not getting the results that you want to get. You have this vision and there's something in between you and that vision, right? And I think that applies to people like myself, agency owners, but I think it also applies to marketing leaders that we work with that are building their team and they're trying to build their brand, build their marketing function, whatever that is. So I think it's pretty broad. I think for me is the testimonial is, you're there to help remove those, help people see differently, right? And remove obstacles that you certainly can't really see on your own in those situations. Obviously, you're bringing the experience from working with a lot of other people that are in that same boat.
Yeah, but it's the not being able to read the label from inside the jar problem.
Yeah, which seems obvious. Well, but you can't actually get outside of your own jar.
Exactly.
Or your own brain. As leaders, we want to speed up. And so how can we do that? And I'd just be curious, what's the conversation you're having a lot right now under that topic?
So right now, uncertainty is the conversation that everybody's having. We've got AI coming into the market. We've got economic uncertainty. We also have different people coming into the workplace, and are they going to be able to do the job the way that I did the job? And so there's a lot of uncertainty there about how that's going to go. In the face of uncertainty, we tend to try to control. And the interesting thing is, the more the leader tries to control, what does the team do?
They try to squiggle loose from that control.
Well, they stand back. If you're going to be in control, okay, we'll just...
You got it. We're not going to do it.
Tell us what to do. And so then the owner or the leader feels more uncertainty because now there's more of it that's on them. They feel like they're carrying this load. And so the move is actually to bring more people in, to say, man, things are really uncertain. How should we work on this together? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? And to let go of that control changes that whole dynamic. Now everybody's in the conversation, in the equation.
Right.
But that conversation is slower, right? If we're collaborating, it takes more time to get to consensus about where we're going to go.
Yeah.
It's much quicker to just grab everything and plug it in and do the thing.
Getting really specific about why are people grabbing for that control, and like what they're trying to do is, there's a couple different types of goals. If you're like an agency owner, you might be trying to grow the business and get more revenue and grow your team, right? And so how do you do that? If you're leading a marketing team, you're doing something similar, but you're trying to make a bigger impact for the organization. You're also trying to demonstrate your value for like the C-suite. There's very similar things. You're trying to grow still. I guess what I'm curious about is there could be a number of reasons why that's not happening. I guess why did you arrive at it's actually the leader who's trying to take control is kind of the primary focus for how you help?
If you look at any business, it's a reflection of the person who's building it, or any department is the reflection of the person who's building it. Like I saw something on LinkedIn today where someone said, hey, if you keep answering in your team's 360 reviews that their communication isn't great, you might have a communication problem. Our early careers teach us bad habits. So if you're a business owner, starting a business is all about hustle and grind. It's all about you getting out there and making stuff happen.
Right.
Early in your career, it's about what can you get done? What can you get checked off of your to-do list, right?
Even though I know that intuitively or logically, I have a weird icky feeling when I'm not getting lots of things done.
Right.
Oh, I didn't do anything today. business is going to go away.
And it's so funny. Look at that jump right from I didn't get anything off my to-do list to we're going to go broke. The truth is, as we move into leadership, the leverage move is to help other people to get stuff done. So we're not getting anything off of our to-do list, but 10 other people are getting things done.
Sure, yeah.
And so that is a shift in identity that from the person who's doing the thing to the person who's setting up the system for other people to do their thing.
Yeah. So there's a transition that's happening.
Yeah.
So how are you helping people go through that process of that transition? What's one of the things that they have to start doing that they're not doing now?
So frequently people are coming to me because they're not getting the results they're looking for. Yeah. They're putting effort in and it's not producing the results. And the thing that I always start with them is to slow that down. So you're doing this thing and you're not getting the results. What do you notice? What is the pattern that you see there? And to slow down and have a little bit of reflection, pretty quickly people will see, oh, I really like being nice. And so I don't have the hard conversations that I need to have. There could be a lot of things there, but if you start by slowing down and taking some time to reflect, okay, the last 10 times that this didn't go well, what was happening for me?
Right. So help me, I mean, maybe use me as a guinea pig. Obviously, we're like, handle this next obstacle or whatever, or where I'm stuck. Obviously, you have to know where I'm stuck, but.
Will you play along with a little exercise?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with your best day. If you can think of a day that went really, really well.
Yeah. You want me to paint that picture? Is that?
Well, no, okay, just hold on to it.
All right, let me think. Okay, got it.
Give me some adjectives that you would use to describe yourself on that day.
Yeah. I would say creative. I would say productive is probably one that comes to mind. Yep. Being in a state of flow.
Yep.
We're not thinking about too much. Yep. You're losing track of time. I would say it started early.
Okay, that's great. Those are all good. So now think about yourself on one of your worst days.
Trying to find my keys. I'm late. I am doing administrative, like task-based data management type work, which I really suck at.
Or at least you don't enjoy.
I don't enjoy it, so it could be either one of those two. Yep. I'm not, I'm the opposite of creative. I'm organizing things.
So let's just look at what you have there. You notice how those are basically two sides of the same coin.
Sure.
Your greatest strength is your greatest weakness.
Yeah.
And so we can't just tear off that bad day self. Like that bad day self, it's part of us.
Yeah.
But there are some patterns that you noticed already. If I get started early, I'm more likely to have a good day. If I'm late and looking for my keys and rushing around, more likely to have a bad day. And I'll tell you, when I do this exercise with leaders, rushing, being in a hurry, being late, that's almost always on the worst day list.
Sure, yeah.
And that's something that's totally within our control.
Right.
When you're the leader, you can say no to things on your calendar.
Right.
You can opt out of stuff. You can put gaps in your schedule so that you never have a day where you're rushing from one thing to the next. And so this is an example of, we're starting to notice here some patterns. So if I said, okay, let's make tomorrow 5% better, what would you change that would make tomorrow 5% better than it was today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would probably make sure that my day starts with something creative.
I was going to say exactly.
Priorities, what's the number one thing you're going to do first? I think there would need to be, and that creativity for me I think one of the balances I struggle with is being transitioning that person who isn't the doer, but who also really loves doing. So that was a great day. It was a lot of doing. So how can I sort of think about that the right way? Is it okay for me to do some doing?
So you got into this business because you enjoy doing that. So it doesn't make any sense to grow the business to the point where you don't get to do it.
Right.
The thing is that you can't do it all.
No, that's for sure.
You, because of the position you have, you can cherry pick the assignments that you want.
And also, I'm not the best at doing a lot of those things. There's actually people that are way better at doing those things. I just happen to really like them.
And it's possible that you can collaborate with them. That could be reviewing stuff. It could be doing some writing. It could be working on a podcast script, whatever it is. But doing something creative in the beginning of the day, that's going to start you off on a better day.
Isn't this this little exercise? It just seems like obvious. Like it doesn't. It sounds okay. No kidding. Like why isn't everybody living their best day all the time then?
Yeah.
Because like all you have to do is think about what's your best day and then do your best day.
Yeah.
Like what's getting in the way of people doing their best day?
So this is super interesting. We don't live in reality. We live in the world that we tell ourselves the story about, right?
Yeah.
So while we're having this podcast, there's tons of things going on in this room, and your brain is filtering down and thinking about just the things that it can manage.
Sure.
And maybe you're telling yourself a story, my gosh, this is going really long. I don't know if Brad's gonna ever stop. So there's a story that's going on there. And we listen to that story more than we notice what's actually going on. And so reflection, that pause, that time to say, oh, what is a good day and what is a bad day, gives us a chance to turn down those other stories and really focus on what is going on for me in this area.
So are you advocating for like operationalizing your reflection time? Like is this like a everyday thing? Okay, you got to do this for 30 minutes or an hour or something? Or how do people implement that?
The thing that I think makes the biggest difference is at least doing a weekly reflection. So for me, on Friday afternoons, I have a list of 5 or 8 questions, and I answer the same questions every week. I write it down and I send it to a friend of mine. She does her reflections and sends them back to me. It's not really important that she says anything about it. It's important that someone's reading it. Like otherwise I won't do it.
Sure.
But by doing that reflection, I see the patterns week after week.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that being outside was really important to me, and I haven't been outside in 3 weeks. That's something I need to do differently. I'll use email because it's the kind of classic example. You went to a shoot yesterday, you got back to the office, there's how many emails in your inbox when you get back?
I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah.
And so the program that we have, or the story that I tell myself is, oh, I got to get to inbox 0. I got 75 emails and I got to crank through those, right? And so I'm in a mode of how quickly can I get this email out of my inbox? And so I had a habit of like 1-word answers. Yes, do it. All those kind of things, because I want to get them out of my box. But when my team gets something that says do it, and they had 7 questions for me in that email, right? Yeah. What are they going to do? They're going to send me an email back that says, you still didn't answer my 7 questions, right? So did that actually speed things up for me, or did that actually generate more email for me now?
Yeah.
So slowing down in any communication, whether it's email or whether it's in person, to really make sure that I understand what someone's saying to me and then respond with enough context so that they can then complete the task without coming back to me again. That's a really critical place where I think leaders could slow down to speed up. Reflection is your chance to, okay, I'm off track, I'm going back on track. I'm off track, I'm going back on track. If I don't take that time to reflect, I might get way off track before I get back on.
Sure.
And so the more frequently we reflect, the more time we actually spend on track, on being productive. So that's the first stage of slowing down. It's just doing a little more reflection, making those small adjustments, trying to keep yourself more in your best day self.
Right.
Because that best day self is more productive for the whole team around you.
Yeah, I think that's something that's important to call out, right? Is like if you are the leader, if you're the person who people are looking to, like, how do you show up for those people around you? That's going to have a massive impact on, because if the whole thing is your job is to employ people and help them do their jobs the best that they can, how you show up for them, how you communicate with them is like 50% of that at least, right?
Yeah.
I'll sort of assess how I did or how I showed up in that meeting and I was distracted or I like didn't really bring a positive mental attitude or whatever it was. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm just kicking myself because I'm like, dude, you like just totally didn't show up the way that you want to show up. And the way that they need you to show up.
And that's it. It's not just that you're not showing up for yourself, but you're not showing up for the team. You're wasting everybody's time.
Totally, yeah.
And you touched on something there that is a big hot button for me. If I'm in a meeting, I want to have 100% of my focus on that. I don't want to be checking my email. I don't want to be, because all of that feels efficient. But when you're paying attention to me, I feel it. And when I'm being listened to, I talk differently. I go deeper. I take more risks. It means that every interaction that you're having with your team goes further. It gets everybody closer to the goal per interaction, which means they're not coming back to you. There's not these loops. You're not in constant meetings because each time you talk to them, they move the ball as far as they could.
Yeah. We're talking so much about feeling. We're not talking about business strategy here. We're talking about like feelings and people. And I mean, one of the things you and I talked a lot about too is, so there's reflection, but then there's this sort of, we talked a lot about curiosity.
Yeah.
With other people. Help me understand how that kind of plays in.
So if we go back to the stories that we're telling ourselves, right? I'm telling myself a story about this particular interaction, and the other person is telling themselves a story. And if we're in a disagreement, and I see clearly why I am right in this disagreement, it's really interesting to stop and think, what must that other person be believing in order for them to think that they're right?
They're two different stories.
Correct, right. There's a different story.
Yeah.
And so if we can get curious about their story, then instead of spending time butting heads, we can start to get around on the same side of the table where we're both looking at things in the same way.
You're both looking at the goal.
Exactly.
It's that way. It's not somewhere in between, like fighting through you to get there.
Yeah.
So that's the curiosity approach. What are you discovering when you're working with a leader and you're sort of assessing whether they are reflecting? Are you assessing whether they are curious? Is it usually some are, some aren't? Like, how are you helping them sort of get into those modes, I guess?
So one of my beliefs is that change comes from desire.
They have to desire it.
Exactly. That's right.
I think the third thing we talk a lot about was about risks and being able to take those risks. And I know it's funny because I personally have heard from people, like I'll tell people that I feel like I'm risk averse.
Yeah.
And they'll look at me and be like, what? You're like you dress up in spandex and get on like TV and do air guitar and you've started a business and all these kind of things. I don't feel that way about how I take risks. Mm-hmm. Help me take risks. But not like bad ones though, right?
Well, so that's exactly the thing. I'm going to talk about this in terms of business owners first, because it's really clear there. When we start a business, the first day we start a business, we're like, if this doesn't work out, I'll go back and get my old job back, right? Like it doesn't feel
the very beginning.
Right. It doesn't feel like a big risk at the very beginning. We see sort of how this is going to work out, how we could do things better. There's maybe an overconfidence factor that's driving it. And so starting a business doesn't feel as risky as it does to people that have never done it.
Right.
As we start to get some success, you've got this nice studio, you've got a team that's working for you, you have a reputation of, having done some great work.
Sure.
Now the idea of losing that, it's terrifying.
Is that something you find with multiple people?
Yeah.
It's a common thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now our identity has been built into, I'm the person who runs this business. I get a lot of psychic validation from doing it. There's probably money involved. There's probably some flexibility that I didn't have before. And so the idea of losing all that starts to get really scary. And so it's exactly what you talk about. We go from being more risk-seeking to, as we get some success, to being more risk-adverse.
Well, it's interesting you say it, because it's so funny how, I know one of the other things you talk about is like you're like the leader, you're the reason why you're failing. Yeah. Your business is failing or isn't succeeding. You are what's in the way.
That's right.
And it's funny because there's two versions of me or I feel like of leaders. One is the one that learns a lot along the way, knows what they're doing, has some really good gut abilities to make really great decisions.
Yep.
And so they should be running a business.
Yep.
And then there's this other version of the other person trapped inside, the kid that never grew up or whatever. Yep. And like for me, like even that is totally true about like my biggest fear is losing. Like growing up, we never had anything. Mm-hmm. And so like it doesn't make any sense to have anything. Mm-hmm. Like when you went and donated things to the church, we were the kids that got the things you donated to, It's just like, in terms of just like that mindset, right? It's a very strange feeling to have like a business and have those things. Then you're like, okay, business Matt knows what to do, super confident, I could take a risk, it'll be fine. And then this other voice that's, don't do that, don't risk it.
So could I ask a couple questions about that?
Sure, yeah.
So does the risk-adverse Matt, do you sort of believe that successful business Matt is a fake or a fraud? Or
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's good.
No, I don't feel like, I don't think I have that, what's that mentality where imposter syndrome. Yeah. I don't feel that way.
So are there times when you're making a decision and risk-adverse Matt's like, no, we can't do that. Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
That's where the way that you grew up or the values that you grew up in are mismatched for the situation that you're in now.
There's a major dissonance there.
Yeah.
And so there's that voice in there. Yeah.
And so one thing to think about is that voice protected you for a long time.
Sure.
That was a really valuable voice in your life, and you wouldn't be where you are now without that voice.
Sure. Yeah.
But it might not be serving you right now.
That totally makes sense. And like when I was working with special, forces units and they're helping them with their communication in a past life.
Yeah.
These guys would go into a building full of enemies and
people that are trying to shoot them,
trying to kill them.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of fear, but that wasn't their primary fear. They get on stage and do a presentation, they're about to fall apart.
Correct.
And so I think that's, for me, that fear is not everybody has the same type of fear, but it's still a big one to overcome.
If it's not serving you,
Right.
is that you're now a grown-up.
Damn it.
And so that grown-up part of you can say, hey, I really appreciate that you're trying to protect me.
Yeah.
But right now, I got it. You can stand down a little bit.
Sure.
And so having that agency to make a different choice in those moments.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to hear more thought on that, because one of the things I think also that has to happen too is it's not like you need more reps, like taking risks. We're talking about taking risks right now. You can't just all of a sudden, now I'm a risk taker. And that kind of feels more like you're throwing caution to the wind and you're not, being your full authentic self. You do have to try something and you have to put yourself out there, and it's a little bit of fear of heights. Like, I don't know that you can ever be a completely different person. I don't know that the fear goes away, but how you tackle the fear with courage is different.
I heard this story about Conor McGregor, that when he first started boxing, he was terrified.
Yeah.
And because sure, someone's trying to kick the hell out of you.
Yeah.
As he got more successful, he found that if that fear wasn't there, he wasn't as sharp.
Yeah.
And so he would walk into an arena and he would look for it. Where is the fear? Where are the people that are hating me? Where are the people that want me to lose?
Yeah.
And he'd look for it not as a way to make himself smaller, but as a way to make himself bigger.
That's a way to channel that, harness it.
The thing that I've started developing around this is the idea of self-leadership. If you go to my website, if you go to anchoradvisors.com/self-leadership-assessment.
We'll give them the link.
I know you will. There's like a 10-question survey there that'll help you to see where your self-leadership is strong, where it could grow. You don't have to give me your email address or anything. You can get it just by taking the 10-minute thing, and it'll give you a little readout. And it's a reflection point. It's a place for you to look at and say, oh, yeah, here's a place that I could grow.
You've got to be able to understand how you're showing up, the curiosity to bring to your people, and then just finding ways to take the right risks, taking risks in general, getting good at taking risks.
Yeah. Getting good at managing what's going on inside of us when we're faced with those risks.
When we're doing that. So doing those three things. I have a question I always like to ask everybody, and that question is, what is a word or a phrase we should no longer use in our leadership, professional workplaces? Anything come to mind there?
So the word that comes to mind really has nothing to do with the work that I do, but man, I think the word demand gen is just stupid word.
Demand gen, like demand generation, like you're creating leads.
Yeah, right. You're creating. See, you even have to explain it, right?
Yeah.
Like when we have a word that everybody's using, and everyone's like, "Well, what is that?" and you have to explain it to them. Yeah. It's obviously a dumb word, right? Yeah. The idea is that we're trying to get people to raise their hands and tell us that they want the thing that we have. And 99 times out of 10, that happens in a form of a conversation, whether it's an online conversation or a face-to-face conversation or a conversation on the phone. So why don't we just call it talking to customers?
Oh, that was my second question. What should we call it? So just talking to customers. Yeah. It doesn't sound as marketing-y.
Well, see, I think
marketing speak.
I think that part of what's happened here is that the marketing world has gotten taken over by these technology tools, and the tech tools have to make it sound like something more than talking to customers, because otherwise, why would you buy their thing?
Yeah, sure.
But if you want demand gen, you need the demand gen tool.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Okay. I guess it's good to know what you're actually trying to accomplish before you start buying stuff. tech companies taking over marketing is another podcast.
We could totally do another podcast.
I think we'd have a lot to say
Yeah.
about that. But Brad, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. I always value our conversations. I always walk away feeling energized, inspired, and ready to take on the day. So I'm grateful for having you.
El Fango.